Welcome back to Play Tessie. It's episode 54, and if you're listening on drop day, it's March 20th. Episode 54, near and dear to my heart, for Edward Mujica. It is not the first time we have mentioned Edward Mujica on this podcast. Thank the Lords. He's no Alexia Gondo, but he is special. This is the official podcast of stealing info and passing it off as your own. JK, we don't do that. We don't do that, but we know people that do. Don't do that. Cite your sources. You know who you are.
Yes.
It's also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Before we get going today, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey app. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us that 5-star review and leave a comment. We'll have plenty to talk about. I'm sure people are going to have takes with today's topics. So leave a comment. And on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the WEI page. Leave that same comment there too. Follow us on socials at PlayTessie, both Twitter and Instagram. Here with Sammy and Pat and Coops in the background, we've got, you get the reference. You get the reference. But gentlemen, it's been a semi-eventful couple of days since we chatted with Loomer.
Yeah. Semi.
Today, I mean, we're like literally, if you're listening on drop day, we're literally a week, right? Drop day's Thursday. Yeah, we're a week away from the season. Jeez.
Yeah.
No. We dropped this one on Wednesday. Doesn't season start?
No, you're
almost
right. I thought today.
A little more than a week. It's not a math show.
You want to know what's happening in less than a week, though, Sammy?
Tell me, Gordo.
It's actually happening in less than 2 days.
Oh no.
It's a good thing. Because we're going down to the fort.
Oh boy, we're going down to the fort. Shout out AirPaz, the sketchy company that I bought my plane ticket through. Love you guys at AirPaz.
And shout out eDreams, sponsor this podcast.
Yeah. So Gordo and I, Pat, I don't know if we've told you this, Coop, you too. We were on the phone coordinating our tickets. I bought mine via AirPaz.
Yes. Yes. Good old AirPaz.
And then Gordo, what was yours?
eDreams, baby. eDreams.
We're
making eDreams come true.
And knock on wood, neither of us got scammed. We actually got our tickets. So
all right.
Yeah, so far. We'll see when we get
I was going to say, baby victory right now could be a big victory soon.
I knocked on wood.
Yeah, see, that's just one of two hurdles because I think it's the way. Sammy, do you remember if it's the way there or the way back that we're taking Spirit? We got Spirit one of these.
Oh, no.
I mean, if it's on the way back, who cares? We just get stuck at Red Sox spring training in sunny Florida. That's fine.
Yeah, true. I hope. Yeah, you're right. I hope it's the way back. Also, if they like delay, because our flight back is a nice little 6 a.m.er. So if they delay that and like we find the night before, then it's like, oh, actually we're flying back at 9. Okay, I'll take that. Whereas the first one, if the first one gets delayed, like we're flying in on Thursday, we're trying to get in at 3. There's a game at 6. So like, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully that doesn't get delayed. But news of the day. Yeah, news of the day. Brian Bayo, opening day starter.
Oh.
No. We're not going. We'll get there later, Pat. We'll get to some. I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw you.
It was my news of the day. All right.
No. That was the real news of the day. I just prefer the news of the day to be something positive. We'll get to some Pat's prognosis later.
Of the day. We can go positive news of the day. We'll get to the negative stuff after. Let us be positive.
A positive news of the day. Brian Bayo's the opening day starter. I think it's something that I know I saw coming for some time. I feel like you guys probably did too. I think most people had this coming. But Sammy, is this? Yeah, you thought it was coming?
Yeah, I mean, I love this. This is awesome. It's kind of like an ode to Bayo. Like, yo, you're the guy. We've extended you. You're the new number one. And I know a lot of people wanted Pivetta, but come on, he's on an expiring deal. You got to put Bayo as your opening day starter. At least people get excited about that at the very least. I love it. I think it's a nice gesture by Cora, I assume, made the call.
You'd hope.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not Cora, then we got more issues. But yeah, I love it. Brian Bayo, opening day starter. Let's do it.
Pat, what was your reaction? You see Brian Bayo. Brian Bayo's the opening day starter.
You just gave him a Brinks truck full of money, and then you just hand the keys over. You just say, "You're our guy." Like that's what they should have done all along. I'm glad they decided on it. If they did announce Pavetta, I would have understood because veteran, he's been there the longest of the, if you want to call it a rotation. And then like I would have understood, but like in terms of what it means to Bayo, what it means for kind of where this team's at, like these are the guys you're building around. Give him the keys, let him go. And I'm glad they decided on it. I hope he crushes it.
Yeah, you give him the contract. You're basically telling him that at such a young age, you're our franchise pitcher. So why would you make him the franchise pitcher and then have him pitch the second game of the year behind? And I know Pavetta was great at the end of last year, but let's be real here. You'd put him behind the guy that you removed from the rotation last year in like May. So
exactly.
Bayo, they're basically telling you that this year is about putting the young guys in positions to prove themselves and put them in roles where they can show what they can do. It's not just with Bayo, it's with everybody. So telling Bayo and not just with your words, but with your actions that he is the guy, like he's going to be your stopper when you're in a slump, when you're losing, when you've lost 3 in a row and he's hitting the bump, you're expecting 6 or 7 scoreless from him. Like he's that guy. So this is just the first part of that message. And Sammy, you'll remember, I think I have this right. You and I were on the radio, not this past time. It was like 2 times ago. So it was probably like 3-4 weeks ago with Bradfo. And he asked us at the very end who we thought was going to be the opening day starter. And Giolito was not hurt yet. So basically the options were at the time, Bayo, Pavetta, Giolito, or signing Monty or making some trade or something like outside the organization, whatever. And I want to say you and I both said Bayo.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying Bayo the whole time, but like, it just doesn't make. Who else would you do? Pavetta would be the other guy on an expiring deal. Giolito also kind of sort of on an expiring deal at the time. It's got to be. Even if they got Montgomery, I think that would be weird to make him the opening day guy. Just give it to Bayo. He's your dude. He's your dude. By the way, I'm so excited for a season where we finally get to see the young guys play.
And you know what? God.
Surely there will be no growing pains or anything like that.
No. You got to develop. When you don't have that much money to blow, you got to develop guys. And the Red Sox, they're just really not raking it in. So
to give a little credit to Bradfo, he had said he'd guessed Pavetta. Pavetta was his pick. And in fairness to him at the time, Pavetta was walking around camp like he owned, and maybe he's still, I don't know, but I just know at the start of camp, like in like those interviews on the bench, like he was walking around like he owned the place. And the veteran, granted, I guess he is the veteran of the staff. He's like kind of, or actually he's not kind of, he is the only veteran on that staff, right?
Is he
like
the longest tenured Red Sox pitcher?
He's
got to be.
No.
Yeah.
How can we look?
Oh, well, Whitlock came after because Pavetta was traded for in 2020. Whitlock was the 24.
Yeah, Whitlock was 21.
I was thinking Bay. Yeah, I'm thinking Bay.
Crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Not counting minor leagues. But how came up in 20?
Yeah.
Did Pavetta pitch in 20 for us?
Yeah, he came up late season because they got him from Philly for Hembry and Workman. And then he was in AAA working on like mechanic stuff and then came up.
One time I was in Fenway when Workman got traded back to the Red Sox, and I was walking behind him, and I thought it was him, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't have my glasses or contacts in, so I kept doing that thing where you try to walk to the side of a person and to see their face. Yeah. And he totally caught me doing it, and he went, "Hey," and I went, "Hey, welcome back." It was so awkward, and that was it. And then it was not a good stretch. I think I ruined his second stint with the Red Sox by bringing really bad energy. So sorry about that.
I did that once with Orlando Cabrera, and the same thing kind of happened. But instead of away, like weirdly, I just was like, "Can I take a selfie with you?" It was like in high school, so I took a selfie with Orlando Cabrera. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I seem like, that's wholesome though. I seem like a creep to friggin' Brendan Workman. He's like, "Who's this guy trying to look at my face?"
Do you guys, trivia question, do you know what Brandon Workman is now today?
Real estate agent.
Very good. Yes. I follow him on Instagram. He has like he has his own real estate account. So he's got his account, but he's got his real estate account. His real estate, I'm like one of 111 people that follows that account. I was weirdly looking at it maybe yesterday.
Yeah, he was a wild pitch. Like he pitched off of his curveball, which you almost never see. So like, right? Am I crazy to say that? He threw at least
yeah. You're right.
Absolutely did. And he was like, I don't know about you guys. When he first came up and for the first like several years, maybe several's too many, but like the first like 3 or 4 years that he pitched for the Red Sox, I was just like, anytime he came in, I just felt like shit.
Yeah.
And then
you would be correct.
at some like, and then like 2019 or was it 2019? Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Coop. Yes, Brandon Workman. Oh, I was right on the note. 211 followers. Come on.
That's wait.
You weirdo.
Followed by only Nat Gordo. That is awesome.
Go in his likes, because he posted about some plot of land he's trying to sell that doesn't have with the deer. In the likes, Mitch Moreland liked it. So yeah, he's trying to sell some big plot of land with deer and whatever that water container thing is. Watch this episode on YouTube or pull up Brandon Work's Instagram. What's the ad of this thing?
Cool. I just want to see it again. Can you go back to just Gordo? It just says followed by Nat Gordo.
Brandon _Workman _realtor. That's his at.
That's incredible.
Followed by at Nat Gordo.
Do we know where he is a real estate agent?
Texas, right? Where he's from?
That thing is not in Massachusetts. I promise you that.
It's not
plot
here.
of land is massive. Yeah, he's got to be Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, isn't he from Texas? Anyway, yeah.
He seems like he's from Texas. But let's move.
All the hashtags are Texas, just to clarify.
Say that again, Coop.
All the hashtags are Texas.
One more time.
Hashtags are Texas.
Gotcha. Okay. The next topic, I don't know if I want to say that like a uncomfortable topic. I don't know. It's just like an interesting topic of discussion because the Red Sox announced that before opening day, we knew obviously there was going to be a Tim Wakefield memorial for Tim and Stacey Wakefield, who both passed away. Wakefield on the last day of the season, and his wife more recently, a few weeks ago. But the team announced that they are having their 04 reunion for the 20-year anniversary of the 04 championship on the same day as that for the home opener. And they're inviting the entire 2004 team, which there was obviously some discussion about this. Was Curt Schilling going to be invited to the 04 reunion? I know Gabby Starr had said that there were players that on that team that said they would not want to go if Curt Schilling was going to be there. So certainly was an interesting topic. Like, would Curt Schilling get invited? Would he not? It seems like he has been invited. Obviously kind of like a touchy subject that gets touchier now that the Wakefield ceremony is being mixed in with this, because obviously Curt Schilling disclosed that Tim Wakefield was battling cancer when Tim Wakefield did not want that information out in the public, which was kind of a shitty move on, not kind of, it was a shitty move on Curt Schilling's part. So I wanted to get your guys' takes. Sammy, you want to go first this one? What was your reaction to seeing that all the 04 team would be invited to this?
Well, first, it's always great to see the 04 team back together. But on the topic of Curt Schilling, which I feel like you have to address, you can't gloss over that. We have to, it's our duty as people who cover this team to talk about it. And my stance is pretty simple. And I think that Gabrielle's report of Red Sox players not wanting him there or not wanting to go if he is there, I think that strengthens the point I'm about to make. I think that anything that would possibly detract from the Wakefields, no, it's a no from me. So if you're bringing Curt Schilling and you feel that it's a risk that he will take the attention away or bring any sort of added negativity, I don't think you do it. It's supposed to be not uplifting, but a community thing where we kind of all
a celebration of his life.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So if there's any chance that there could be added negativity, and I think it's pretty clear that there is, I would say that he should not be there. Pretty simple.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck Kurt Schilling. No, like honest to God, like he deserves to. So it's so two-sided because that whole ceremony should be nothing but like embracing the Wakefield, such like a positive, memorable experience. But at the same time, if you're saying that you kind of hope that Kurt Schilling isn't booed into oblivion and maybe catches a couple pieces of pizza and beer cans to the head, you'd be lying. Like, fuck Kurt Schilling. They should not have invited him.
Man, that was beautiful. I'm trying to be all like PR, like, all right, word this like,
yeah,
this is,
no. And like, that's the whole thing. And like, I was thinking about it. I was kind of like sitting on it all day. Like, we keep it very, especially when it comes to players, like we're honest, but we try and maintain like we know these guys, you know, like I don't know Kurt Schilling. I don't want to know Kurt Schilling. Fuck Kurt Schilling. Like, yeah, that's my stance. I'm appalled that he was even invited after all of his former teammates, like, were so furious. If he didn't get extended an invite, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because a lot of this discussion is happening because the two ceremonies are happening on the same day. And I absolutely think that this Tim Wakefield ceremony should be the first thing that happens before the season. Like, they need to do this. It's like the obvious move. But like the 07 reunion, I remember I was there for. 13 one I was not there for, but neither of those occurred on the first day of the season. So why mix the two together? Because like my stance on the Kurt Schilling thing as it pertains solely for the 04 reunion, Wakefield ceremony aside, that he should be invited to the 04 reunion, and it's up to him if he wants to go and take the reaction that the fans are going to give him. He's probably going to get booed. And if he wants to go and take that, he can take it. And the fans would have the opportunity to show Kurt Schilling to his face how they feel about him. And I think it would be a pretty clear-cut reaction. But now when you mix it with the Wakefield ceremony, I'm like uncomfortable with the idea that Kurt Schilling could be at Tim Wakefield's ceremony when in essence he denied Tim Wakefield his dying wish. Like, it just feels wrong.
Yeah, I didn't really consider that you could split the two ceremonies. I think they should keep the ceremonies together because Wakefield was a huge part of the Red Sox, not just in 2004, but like for how many years? Like 17 years of service?
Yeah.
Crazy amount. So I like that both are on the same day. If they weren't, then yeah, I agree. Yeah, Kurt, yeah, go ahead, come. You're going to get booed probably. But, you know, they are on the same day. So I can't
like, what would stop them? Like, why not just do Wakefield ceremony before the home opener, and then like sometime in the beginning of May, you have the 04 reunion, and like, of course, you're going to acknowledge Tim Wakefield at that too because he was an important part of the team, but it's not like the Wakefield ceremony, and at least then it's a little bit less like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Because like, it's like, unfortunately, like, obviously we all have our opinions about Kurt Schilling. Everyone in Boston does. Like, he has done some ridiculous things since his retirement. He said a lot of crazy shit, and it's wrong. But you can't deny the important part of Red Sox history that he played with that team. So it's like, I like, my stance on it is almost the same as like the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame. It's like, you can't like erase history, but like fans should get the opportunity to, like, if they don't like Kurt Schilling being there, which I think most wouldn't, they should get the opportunity to boo him. But the Wakefield ceremony is just a completely different animal. He should just be nowhere close to that.
Yeah. But also, I also think that it should be on opening day, the 04 ceremony, that and Wakefield, it should be on opening day. It's just bigger. That's the most important team in the history of the Red Sox, the 04 team. So, you know, Kurt Schilling, what is it? You reap what you sow. That's what
Yeah.
he's got to do now. And by the way, not at all related to politics. I don't care about that. It's being an asshole is what I care about. So I think that he'll be there. I don't think he will be there. And it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but that's where we're at. Hoping.
Pat, do you think he'll go? Do you think he'll go, Pat?
Yeah, I think he's a smug son of a bitch. I think he will go.
I'm torn. I don't know because he hasn't done. He hasn't done any. He hasn't done anything on social since the Wakefield thing. That's what makes me think that maybe he wouldn't go, because before that I would have said easily yes, he's going 1,000%. But now I don't know, because I think maybe even he knows at this point that he's crossed the line, and that I feel like that's hard to do with him.
All right, this is going to be tinfoil hat, and it's not. It's somewhat tongue in cheek, funny, and it's like a situation that isn't too tongue in cheek, but what if, and like this isn't out of the, I think, realm of possibility. What if with the Netflix documentary series that they're both doing on the season and that they're doing on the 2004 team that's going to come out, what if John Henry went to Kurt Schilling, two people that they just love to have people love them, and John Henry was like, hey, I can turn around your public perception here. Come out opening day, say I'm sorry to the city of Boston, say I'm sorry to the Wakefields, and they'll dress it up for Netflix and everything, and that's just something that they can sell on the season.
No, I mean,
then you're just gonna be making more. You're gonna be making
that
more
was conspiracy
about Schilling.
I don't think that'll happen, but
no, hey,
wild.
I don't think that's too crazy. That's not too. I mean, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But the idea of Kurt Schilling apologizing, I think that would be good. I would, if he genuinely apologized and expressed that he felt bad about, as Gordo said, denying Wakefield of his dying wish, which is so fucking gross. It would behoove him. I don't know if I'd fully forgive him, but it'd be a step in the right direction. But
I wouldn't believe him for a second. That dude's a scumbag.
Yeah, it'd be.
But
tough.
I do think that there's a hint of the Wakefields maybe saying, hey, we forgive him. At the end of the day, this is a much bigger situation than someone just tattling. And if they want to handle it that way, maybe they handle it that way. Maybe they said that to someone to pass it along and be hey, we forgive him. Let him do his thing. I could see that. I could see the Wakefields being the bigger people in this situation, just saying hey, fuck it. It's a World Series thing. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It sucks what he did to our family, but whatever.
I think
we're going to be the bigger family.
I could definitely see that.
Maybe.
I could definitely see that because
he would have to also apologize on top of that. I can't just absolve him without him showing and I'm not saying you're suggesting
you don't have to forgive him. I don't think he will be forgiven.
No, not even forgive, but be okay with him showing up to Fenway. That's how far it's gone. I don't even want to see him here. I saw actually
it will be
this is kind of funny. I saw a guy with a 2004 Red Sox jersey, and he put a piece of, it was a Schilling jersey, and he put a piece of tape on the S and the G, so it said chillin'. And I was like, that's good. That's a good thing to do to you.
He's chill.
Yeah, you don't want to throw it out, but you can.
I've owned many jerseys in my lifetime, and a lot of them have not been great. I've now both owned a Kurt Schilling jersey and a Aaron Hernandez jersey in my life.
Ooh,
yeah.
God. Can you buy some Yankees jerseys?
Ooh.
I've only
Verdugo
bought
jersey
one.
might not be off.
What number is he there? What number did he take? Do we know? He didn't judge.
He take 24, 27, 24. No, 27 Stanton. I think 24, if I remember correctly.
I remember there were people
61.
61?
No, he didn't take 61.
No, he did.
I mean, hold on. 61.
While you're doing that, back in the day, do you guys remember when the Celtics? No. I thought it was 20 something.
It's 24. It's 24.
Baseball Reference literally says 61. I'm looking at it. Shoot, that's with the Dodgers. I'm looking at it backwards.
Get out of here.
I have
back behind. Out of here. See ya.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I can tell you pretty much anyone's jersey number. It's the most useless skill ever.
I agree with that. I can't tell you what I ate for breakfast, but I can recall how many followers Brandon Workman's realtor Instagram account has.
I'll tell you what, he has one more now.
Hell
Hey,
yeah, Pat, 112.
All right, so let's since it's a serious topic, let's all put a bow on it. I am against Curt Schilling being there.
Fuck him.
Pat is very against it.
Yeah, if Wakefield's ceremony is involved, he can't be there. I think he should be invited to the 04 thing, but if Wakefield's thing is involved, like, you just can't. It's wrong.
Yeah, I can't get over that. Like, I'm trying to be very careful with this topic. It's serious. I'm like, well, if he's coming, and then Pat's just like, fuck him.
Yeah, no. And I agree. Like, it is like a very serious ceremony, and it should be. It should be very sentimental, memorable. Like, that Wakefield deserves the best ceremony, pregame ceremony the Red Sox have ever performed. That being said, Curt Schilling cannot be there.
Yeah, it takes away from it. We basically
Exactly.
said
Exactly.
we said the same thing in incredibly different ways.
Yes.
Oh my god. I think I just put it together.
What?
Oh my god, I think I just put it together. Because this is the thing. If Curt Schilling was not invited, that's a storyline. If he goes, that's a storyline. But if he invites but doesn't go, that's not really a storyline. Maybe they were like, we're gonna put it out there that we invited you, but you're not coming. Maybe that's it.
I mean, it's a story either.
I'm just hoping, man.
The guy's such a scumbag that pretty much anything involving him is like a negative story. So, way to torch your own legacy, Curt.
Let's oh god. Well, we're moving on to the next topic of the day, and it's also not the happiest topic, because friend of the program, Chris Murphy, has a high, reportedly from Chris Cotillo, but like the Red Sox have basically acknowledged that this is it. That he has a high grade tear in a ligament in his elbow, and I'm just gonna kick it to Pat for probably the worst Pat's prognosis he's ever gonna give us. Pat.
Yeah. Chris Murphy likely either needs Tommy John or the surgery that Lucus Giolito just got.
Oh my God.
You have two pretty important structural ligaments in your elbow. You have your UCL, which is the Tommy John ligament, and you have your radial collateral, or LCL, in your elbow. It would be... I know. There's no way it's his LCL. LCL is... I don't even know if anyone in baseball history has ever torn the LCL.
What's an LCL? I don't even know what that is.
So your UCL runs right here. LCL runs along the radius, so here. But pitching...
you don't use that at all. Pitching.
Oh, that's like when somebody lets their arm snap in an arm bar, that gets ripped.
Yeah, like you need some kind of crazy force going from the inside out this way.
Oh, yeah, been there.
So unless he's throwing like javelin, Chris Murphy probably has some structural damage to the UCL. There's different grades to tears. So grade 1 is like microscopic. Grade 2 is a pretty substantial partial tear. Grade 3 is a full tear. If it were a grade 1, thank you, Coop.
Oh, I hate these. That's not.
It looks like a bandage.
No, Coop, look up LCL, the elbow. That's that one, that black one. Yep, thank you. Yeah. So the RCL or the LCL, that connects the radial head, that top bone, into the humerus, which is your upper arm. So I mean, it's he didn't tear his, or I'd be stunned. I'd be legitimately stunned if it was that. Hopefully it's like a grade 1 tear. I feel as though if it were a grade 1 tear, they would not be so ominous. I feel like they would say, like they would kind of mask it as like a flexor bundle strain, flexor strain, something along the lines of that. where they're saying ligament, not saying what, and then literally giving no update on timetable or if surgery is needed, I would lean towards UCL. Which
what does high grade tear in this case mean?
Well, so grade 2 would be, so Giolito had a partial tear.
So high grade
Giolito
tear
had a
would mean
partial
that
tear.
that it's like a full.
Yeah, so grade 2 would be either like a mid substance tear. So if like this is, I don't know, but yeah. So essentially, here it is. So this piece of paper, UCL, right?
Oh,
This where it's still intact. That's kind of a
partially
grade 2, grade 3,
so if you're listening on radio,
or if it comes off the bone.
if you're just listening and not watching, Pat had a thin piece of paper. He ripped it mostly in half, and that was the better scenario. And then the worst scenario, which we're afraid of, he ripped it completely in half. So I feel not very good about this.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like if it were something that could be resolved with rest or time off, you'd kind of get the Garrett Cole answer of, second, third opinion, down for a month or two, which who knows? Like that could be it. That could be like that grade 1, just really irritated UCL. You let time take it, like time for healing, all that stuff. But so hopefully that is what it is. Hopefully he's only down for a month or two. But I don't know. I find that typically when teams are pretty ominous with injury updates, it's never a good thing.
I agree with you, Pat, and we've seen the pattern with the way Cora talks about it too. Anytime Cora says the word concerned, and you see all the reporters type out the word concerned, this is where it goes. And now, I mean, we're still in March, the middle of March, and this is going to now be Lucus Giolito and Chris Murphy likely done for the season. And correct me if I'm wrong, did the Red Sox have any Tommy John guys last year? I know Whitlock had a scare, but it didn't end up being that. I want to say they didn't. Zach Kelly had a scare, but he didn't. He ended up getting back.
Zach had a scare.
Nobody.
Mata got Tommy John a couple years ago, right? That was last year.
He's had it. But this just leads to my question for you guys, and I want to hear from both of you on this. You talked to the players, and Alex Spear had a really good article out there. You all should check it out, citing our sources when we talk about other people's info. Alex Spear wrote, and he got quotes from I think he had Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta, as a lot of the players believe that the pitch clock is to blame. Other people, I forget who said this. It was a study that said that sweepers and hour changeups are to blame, which could be interesting because the Red Sox have this new pitching program. Like, do we blame that? But just for perspective here, I'll read a quote from the end of that Spear article, which is that, quote, independent studies by both Fangraphs and Johns Hopkins University found no correlation between changes in pitchers' pace and injuries. Meanwhile, 99% of pitches with runners on base last year were thrown with at least 2 seconds left on the clock, which is, by the way, that was in relation to Pivetta complaining about them shortening the pitch clock even more with runners on base. But, quote, finally, pitcher injury list placements in 2023 were actually down relative to the prior 2 years in 4 of the 6 months of the season. So I think what that's basically saying is it's easy to blame pitch clock, but that's not to blame for the increase in injuries. Do you guys remember they were blaming the lack of their inability to use sticky stuff? Remember Glasnow got Tommy John and he blamed that?
I could see that because no, I don't want to try to talk like a scientist when I'm not a scientist. I think it could also just be like everyone's so dead set on velocity, and I understand why. It helps a lot. But I mean, today I saw Chris Martin is throwing at like 96, which is the hardest he's ever thrown in spring training. And my first thought was, oh, fuck, well, he's gone. He's going to get hurt.
Same. That was my reaction too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where to see. It's such a conundrum. Great word. Conundrum. Like, Velocity, it's good if you're a pitcher. Helps you get guys out. Harder to hit when the ball is faster, generally. But if it's leading to more injuries, like, what do? You play at a disadvantage? Like, how do you solve this issue? And I don't want to just assume that the uptick in velocity is why guys are getting hurt. It could also be the sticky stuff. Could also be the pitch clock. Could also be a combination of the three. But, man, not looking good. Something's got to change. There's got to be some. I'm sure they're doing all the research in the world on it right now. They have to be.
Yeah.
They as in Major League Baseball. But, man, something's up. This is weird.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Sammy. You're like my reaction to Chris Murphy, to Chris Martin throwing harder than he's thrown in spring training was but it's not for it's for good reason. Like, we saw Lucus Giolito throwing fastballs that were multiple miles an hour higher than his average for the entire season last year. Chris Murphy, his stuff ticked up in his final spring training outing, and both times right after we saw those, there goes the elbow. So Pat, what do you think it is? I'm curious. Like, do you have opinion on this?
Yeah. So I think I talked about it when it would have been Giolito, but research shows that velocity is the biggest contributor to UCL tears and damage. And I think one thing that I know for a fact I didn't clarify is that means global velocity. That's not talking if your fastball is 98. That also means, like, comparatively, if your changeup is fast, if your slider is fast, if your sweeper is fast. So all velo, not just on a fastball, all of those things count as velo. So the harder you throw, the more at risk you are. That's just a fact. That being said, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions, and I don't think anyone should, that this new kind of pitching infrastructure or pitching mechanic changes. Yeah, they're adding velo. You don't hit a failure point in 200 pitches. Like if it were the pitching program, these would be spiking in like June. These are maybe elbows that weren't perfect, and then they start throwing really hard, and then sure, you hit your breaking point. But I think those are all elbows that are probably bound to hit that breaking point at some point. Does it accelerate the timeline? I even that I wouldn't say so. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you have two guys who, well, I don't even want to put that on Chris Murphy. You have one guy who got Tommy John. You have one guy who has some form of ligamentous damage. It's very easy to point the finger at, all right, here we go. What about Tampa? No one's bringing this up in Tampa. Every year they have top two starters get Tommy John.
I'm bringing it up. I'm talking about them.
Velocity farm in Tampa. They always get
That's
hurt.
what I'm saying. So I think
what'd they say when they got Savali? I think it was Gordo. Gordo was like, "Oh, he's going to be the best pitcher in the league for a while, and then he's going to get hurt or something."
Yeah,
one of us said that.
Yeah,
everyone goes to Tampa hurt.
Sure. So like, velocity introduces a pretty big risk factor, but at the same time, if it truly were these pitching mechanics and the uptick in velocity changes, I don't think you'd see a turnaround as fast as you're seeing right now with guys' elbows kind of shitting it. I think it would take some real time, and that prolonged stress at that velocity would do it. I think these injuries are kind of guys who might be predisposed, might have had micro tears, which is kind of your grade one that maybe in the offseason heals a little bit, and then now that you're ramping back up and you're throwing harder than ever, like, sure. Like, I'm sure it plays a factor, but to just single-handedly say, you know, Andrew Bailey's new infrastructure, Craig Breslow, like, these guys are ruining guys, like, you're just jumping to absolutely asinine conclusions.
Yeah. Pat, a question for you. So
yeah,
we've discussed on the show before how just in general, throwing motion, overhand is inherently unnatural.
Yeah.
Do you think that this rise in injury will lead to more guys dropping down to like sidearm or even submarine?
So I actually don't know what the research says about sidearm, because sidearm is interesting because when you come over the top, it's sorry, here, Coop, can you make me big for a second, please?
Big.
Make him big.
So
I'm going to narrate this a little
When
bit
you
for the
throw
listener.
and you come over the top here, there definitely is, like, I'll do it this way. My inside of my elbow leads, and then you come through. So you
Yes.
definitely have some, I mean, that's all the stress is through that middle elbow and the front of the shoulder. That being said, if you drop down sidearm, you're still leading with that kind of middle aspect of the elbow.
Does it help
So
the shoulder at all?
it might help the shoulder a little bit because it's not so abducted up here. It's more,
It feels
in that
more
kind of-
natural.
So
kind of like scapular plane. So I'm sure it might help the shoulder a little bit, but in terms of, UCL, middle elbow, when you throw from here, that all that elbow is exposed, that stress winding it back. Unless you keep a completely straight arm through for a sidearm, like
like a distance throw kind of.
yeah. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the research says on that, but off the top of my head, I don't. Yeah,
that's rough. All right, well maybe so. This is why you got to watch the YouTube. You can see Pat's elbows. Guy's got nice elbows.
You can't get a true Pat's prognosis. Holy shit! You can't get a true Pat's prognosis experience without the YouTube page. Pat, before we move to enough said, I think we need a Chris Murphy from you.
Chris Murphy.
Hoping for this for friend of the program, Chris Murphy.
Hey, the best part, time is on his side. He's still young. He'll be back.
Oh yeah, absolutely will be back. Yeah. Whether it's sooner rather than later, he will absolutely be back. But wrapping this thing up a little bit, we'll get to some enough said. I can go first for this one.
Hit it.
Coop, I pull the picture up. Jaron Duran. I think Jaron Duran has a lookalike.
Oh, I get it right away.
Jaron Duran kind of looks like the Tiger King now.
Oh my God. That's the meanest thing anyone has ever said about Jaron Duran. What an insult.
This is on the level.
This was your guy, Gordo.
This is on the level of Rob telling me I look like Nick Sirianni. It's just a rude thing to say.
Or you telling Rob you look like Pete Abe.
Hey, we don't mention that name.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's brutal. I would just say the hair looks like the Tiger King.
Nah, yeah, that's literally all it is. It's just the hair.
Oy vey.
Obviously, Jaron Duran is way better looking than the Tiger King. He is way cooler than the Tiger King. Although the Tiger King is very interesting.
I hope he listens to this and then confronts you in Florida and is like, "You are mean, Gordo.
You said I looked like the Tiger King."
You know who lives? Doesn't he live in Florida too? Tiger King. We can go see him in prison.
Is he in jail?
Yeah.
Go visit him.
Was that all in Florida?
Yeah.
Mostly. They went to like Oklahoma and the South area. All right. Am I up?
But yeah, you go.
Holy shit. I do not know if you guys saw, but NBC, I think it was, NBC News absolutely massacred the Red Sox. They went on the street and did, the man on the street thing where you just speak to fans around Fenway. And they were like, "You excited for the season?" Every single answer was like, "No, not really. Most years I am, but not this year." They asked, "Are you going to go to games?" Probably not many this year. Not as many as I normally would. And then they asked some guys to name the players. Oh my God. Yeah. It was. Do we have enough time to play it? All right, go ahead.
Out to Fenway Park to find out if anyone cares. Mary?
Well, if you walk around Fenway Park here and talk to people, you'll find not only are they unaware of opening day, many of them can't even name a current Red Sox player. How many current players can you name on the Red Sox?
None.
Current? Danvers? That's it. Damn, I'm blanking right now. It's the camera.
When I was a kid, it was
must-see TV when Pedro Martinez was pitching.
Usually other years, like I kind of hear about it or like people are talking about it, but this year I didn't even know that they were like starting. I had no idea.
In fact, you can find ticket prices for regular season games as low as $11 on Vivid Seats.
Oh.
They're not willing to plunk down money to go to Fenway to see the Red Sox. And that typically hasn't been the case over the last 20 years. They've had the highest ticket prices in baseball because the market would bear it. Red Sox ownership has not spent money to put a representative team on the field. And this is how you end up with this sort of apathy that we're talking about a week or two ahead of opening day.
Good God, that is
That's
so
bad.
You hear how the guy
So bad.
Like, we took to the streets to see if anybody cares. Oh,
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
I gotta go.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. $11? That's like
Right, yeah.
100
Maybe-
times the price of last year with that Yankee game. Come on, guys. It's like way more expensive. Interest is
Inflation,
way
man.
higher.
I got
guys.
an issue with Frank.
Is that
Him
the
saying
report?
when I was a kid we had Pedro
Who's-
pitching. You're not old enough to say that type of stuff.
Oh,
like-
Oh,
yeah.
was that like who?
Yeah, you're not that type of like if that would mean he's what 30, 40-ish. You're not at that. Like,
Sammy,
you're not a,
no. Sammy,
you're
you
not
were
an
not a
old
kid
man
when
yet.
Pedro was pitching.
You're old, but you're not
the
an old
first
man.
game I went to. The first game I went to at. Oh, you're saying I was an adult. Ha ha ha. I thought you were saying I'm not even old. No, first game I
No,
went.
but you
to,
can't say
it was-
like if you were a kid when Pedro was pitching, you're not old enough to say when I was a kid. Fuck you.
When I was a kid.
What? Also, didn't really get a good look at that guy. I feel like when he was a kid, Clemens was pitching. That guy looked pretty old.
I don't think
Yeah.
Then again, I say that, and I have no concept of how old I am. I'm like, oh, that guy's so old. He's probably like 10 years older than me. So
Anyway, yeah, but that was just. It does not get worse. That was pretty rough.
Yeah,
I
that
hope
was
John Henry
pretty
sees it.
depressing.
Maybe his spine is back in place. Who knows? But yeah, ugly scene. I'm fired up for the season. I still am actually fired up for the season. I know I've been very doom and gloom, but I'm at that point where I've completely talked myself into it. If Tanner Houck and Garrett Whitlock both pitch at a very high level and Trevor Story bounces back and Yoshida has a better season, and this will take me like 25 minutes to finish, but yeah, you get the point.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I'm kind of there too. Like, I'm excited. Like, I'll be excited until they're not in contention. Like, God, just let me live.
I mean,
Pat, you got enough said?
I do. I got a quick one. Shout out Jazz Chisholm. Shout out Jazz
Oh yeah,
Chisholm.
what was that?
What do you do?
Because
Oh, did he hit on a girl or something?
What? No.
No.
Oh, I saw him.
I was
flirting
going to
with,
say
like, a
he's
celeb on-
building a welcoming and accepting clubhouse because he went on a podcast today and absolutely obliterated Miguel Rojas for being a dick.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was
Yeah.
a great guy. Mickey Rowe.
No, he said I didn't watch the clip. I just saw the quotes from the interview. And
You gotta see
essentially
the clip.
Miguel Rojas was like just shitting on the young guys for thanks, Scoop. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, I was already a team
hear it.
leader without being called a team leader. But the vets, you can't be a team leader when you got guys in the clubhouse that's been in there for 9, 10 years. Even though they suck, they've been there for 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
And the team calls them the team captain, but like, they're not a good captain. They're not a good person. You're not even a good athlete at this point.
Yeah.
You're just here.
Yeah.
And you're bringing down the young guys that are supposed to be good. Bro, like, I watched someone get called up to the big leagues, supposed to be like top 3 prospects on our team, right? He gets up there, hits a homer. Like first or second at bat, hits a homer, right? His next at bat, he goes and does the Juan Soto shuffle, right? Like, he's a kid. His favorite player is Juan Soto. He just got to the big leagues. Tell me why he comes in the dugout after he walks, get around the base, comes in the dugout after. These vets sit on the side of him and start yelling at him, saying, bro, you're not Juan Soto, bro. You shouldn't be doing that. Juan Soto is an all-star, da-da-da-da. You can't be doing that. Bro, what do you mean? He's having fun, bro. We playing a fucking kids games.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I step in and say, bro, y'all better back up off this boy, bro. This man is starting. He's playing every day for us. Why are y'all in his face? Y'all don't even play every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So shout out Jazz
Yeah.
Chisholm.
And that went on for a while, too. He got into like some specifics about like Miguel Rojas like letting him sleep through meetings or something. Like he's like, yeah, I was asleep, and he just would walk right by me and let me miss meetings. Like Yeah, weird shit. Do you guys remember like the Miguel Rojas Red Sox rumors from a year ago?
Yep.
Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yep, him
Well,
and John Purdy.
I like that because he was like a good defensive shortstop and a leader. And I figured, Story's out. Great. It's a good placeholder, but damn. And, you can't just assume that Rojas, is like a jerk or anything. He has been around for a long time and he's not the greatest. So you have to think he has some leadership qualities, and that's just one guy. But damn, that's a rough review from old Jazz. By the way, he did also hit on send something flirty about a model. I'm not crazy. I found it, and she is very pretty. So good call, Jazz.
Go Jazz. We've always been a pro Jazz podcast.
Cool
And
gloves.
just before we wrap this thing up,
I'm good.
I like Jazz Chisholm's glove, the ice cream cone glove.
Yep.
oh yeah, very cool, very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
But on that note, this has been episode 54 of Play Tessie. We got to do the math and figure out how many we're going to be at when we hit opening day. We'll figure that out. It'll probably be like right around 60, maybe a little bit less than 60. Opening day's coming. But yeah, this is episode 54. But before you leave, remember, hit that subscribe button, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or the Odyssey app. Hit that subscribe button and give us that 5-star review. And comment, tell us about how much you love Jazz Chisholm's glove. Just give a shout out to Jazz Chisholm in the comments, whether that's on a podcast platform or on YouTube, where you can find us the WEI channel and you can subscribe to that and hit that thumbs up on the video. That helps us a ton. So just hit that button before you tune out. Follow us also, Play Tessie, at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. For Sammy, for Pat, for Coop behind the wall, whatever you want to call it. It's Gordo here for Play Tessie. It's been episode 54. Thanks for tuning in. Toodaloo.